Back again. It's been a minute. It's been about a week actually since my last video, since my last upload, and a lot has changed. But when I don't feel well, when I don't feel like I can give the energy necessary to make a YouTube video, I feel like y'all would feel it through the screen. So therefore, I'd rather not do a video than to do something that's lazy, to do something that I just don't feel like doing on the inside. So without further ado, I'm back. Game 3 was last night of the NBA Finals. And after watching Game 1, after watching Game 2, you could see that Phoenix had a lot of momentum in this series. They punched first, basically, and they did what they were supposed to do. They protected home court, and now it's the Milwaukee Bucks' turn. And the Milwaukee Bucks, after Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton decided to take a vacation the first 2 games, they finally decided to show up. And it was so funny, the dynamic of this big three, because Drew Holiday showed up in the second half, Chris Middleton showed up in the first half, and Giannis was consistent throughout. So pretty much like all the other games, except for Game 1 and Game 2, Giannis was consistent throughout, and Drew and Chris decided not to show up at all. But this game, it was fun to see Chris kind of show up in the first quarter, show up in the second quarter. He was attacking, going downhill, pulling up for mid-range shots, catching shoot threes. They completely got rid of this game. They completely got rid of the quick transition three. That was so frustrating in Game 2, how they kept coming down. As soon as they catch the ball, they pull a three. A defender be right here in their face, and they still yanking it. I didn't understand it. And Drew Holiday, pretty much this entire postseason, has struggled with his perimeter jump shot. But last night, he made like 3 or 4 in a row when Phoenix was making a run and Cam Johnson had that extremely explosive quarter. He dunked on P.J. Tucker, and I think they pulled within like 5 or 6 points. And Drew Holiday answered. And that's what you need. You need help. And another dominant performance by Giannis. I believe this is back-to-back 40-point games. He was in a category with like Michael Jordan and LeBron James for a 40-10 in like 6 game, and Kevin Durant. And then he's in a category, just him and Shaq alone, with 2 back-to-back finals games of 40 points and 10 rebounds. Giannis has really gained my respect. And as a Rockets fan, as somebody that felt like the media kind of snubbed James Harden in 2019 from the MVP award and kind of changed criteria a little bit, I have to say this year, Giannis is playing basketball. He's conquering a lot of demons on the way. Miami beat them last year. They swept them. Everybody was going into that series saying, Brooklyn was going to wipe the floor with Milwaukee after the first 2 games. They beat them in 7 games. Trae Young, Giannis hyperextends his knee in Game 4 or Game 3, and the Hawks, and the Bucks win games 5 and 6 or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And they do what they need to do without Giannis. And you think after seeing an injury where somebody's weight falls down and their knee buckles back, you think that you won't see the best of them anymore, or you won't even see them the rest of the season. But Giannis came back a week later. So the guy's pretty phenomenal, man. I much respect to Giannis, man. Much respect to Giannis. But we got to talk about Devin Booker real quick, man. Devin Booker, his last 8 games has been really, really underwhelming. He's not shooting well from the floor. He's had some games shooting below 40%. I think he's maybe had 1 game, and that was Game 2 of the finals, where he shot above 45%. And when you're a jump shooting guard and you're not really explosive in athleticism, you got to find ways to score. And he's not even getting to the free throw line at the same rate, as he was earlier in the playoffs. And last night, I don't think I seen him drive to the goal 1 time. I don't think I saw him go to the goal and try to score 1 time. Not try to get a layup, not try to get a dunk. The only time I seen him drive, he trying to drive, put a shoulder, somebody draw a foul for it, and that's a jump shot. So, I don't know what's going on with Devin Booker, but maybe it's fatigue because he's never played this far into a postseason or into a season at all in his career. Maybe it's just he's missing shots, and maybe the Bucks are doing something defensively to make him, press a little bit, and he's just feeling the pressure of the finals and being this close to a championship. But we're gonna start to see, is the Bucks experience going to take over, and is the Phoenix Suns youth going to show? Because pretty much this entire postseason, the Suns have faced little adversity. In the first round, they had a little adversity. but ultimately they played a hurt team with LeBron James with a high ankle sprain and Anthony Davis with a groin. Then you go in the second round, they play an undermanned Nuggets team who was not healthy. So that was the easy series. Then they played the Clippers, who's missing Kawhi Leonard, who's missing Serge Ibaka, and they won the first 2 games without Chris Paul. And then they won the next 3 of the last. They live on the next 2 of the last 3 to close out that series or something like that. So this is something that. This is their first real adversity against a team that can actually punch back, against a team that actually has offensive firepower as well as defensive firepower. And we're going to see how the Suns respond. We're going to see how DeAndre Ayton responds, which I think he was playing well last night outside of the foul trouble. And Devin Booker. Chris Paul has been steady. He's been, superb. But Chris Paul is a point guard at the end of the day, and he needs his 2 guard to show up. He needs his 2 guard to show up because that's his job, to show up. And I asked last night on my Twitter feed, what does Devin Booker do when his jump shot is not falling? What is it that he does? What is it that he brings to the table? What is his bread and butter? And I don't know. I know he can pass. I know he can facilitate. I know he can handle the ball. But how often are they going to initiate offense with Devin Booker when Cameron Payne and Cameron Payne and Chris Paul on the floor? Most of the time, they let those guys be the point guards. Devin Booker comes off the screens. He's shooting in the mid-range. He's shooting from the 3. He's facing up. He's posting up. But last night, man, was just not a good game from him. He was pressing. He was 2 dribble, pull up, 1 dribble, pull up. It was not a good game for him. I didn't really like what I saw from Devin Booker last night, especially considering what I've seen from these playoffs and how he's able to affect the game in multiple ways. But last night, it just seemed like he just had tunnel vision and he was just checked out. And that is bound to happen when you win a series. You bound to drop 1 game. We saw the mighty Warriors. Every game 3, it seemed like the Warriors just let a game go because they just was not locked in mentally as much as they needed to be, whether it was turnovers or missed shots or the team just going berserk from 3 on the opposition. They just, They never, it's bound to happen in the playoff series, and especially this far into the playoffs, in the finals, you this far away from championship, teams are not going to lay down. So, but pretty much that's all I got. I'm back. Thank you for watching. Out.